Hi there, it's Kevin with the Rogue Market here with an update video to the Double Masters expected EV, or at least the contents, the spoiler contents of the set, and analyzing the kind of methodology that they use to make this Double Masters. And I'd be very critical of their picks here and show exactly, I think I've found their formula of exactly how they chose cards, and it just makes me scratch my head the amount of incompetence at Wizards of the Coast when they don't understand how the secondary market works or how to dip into their own equity pool, especially with Vengevine and Meddling Mage now being spoiled, with both of these cards having very recent reprints. And I think that this is going to be the crushing blow to both of these cards. So I theorized in my Rogue, my Market Monday video that this set was probably designed around War of the Spark, and I think Vengevine proves that. So I'm starting to see a trend with the cards that they chose being put in this Double Masters that spiked up around War of the Spark. So when they started designing the set, they probably did so around this time period between War of the Spark and Throne of Eldraine, and something like Vengevine actually did look like a prime target to be reprinted. However, these price spikes were short-lived. Many of these throughout this Double Masters follow this trend. We had a really robust market between War of the Spark and Throne of Eldraine, and then we had a huge dip in Magic after that. It seems to be that Wizards can never hold on to these big booms. This was a really fun time to play. Well, relatively fun time to play Standard, but it was a very vibrant community. We had, after the War of the Spark, we had their trailer go viral, and Arena was actually the highest that it's ever been. So it was a big positive point in Magic the Gathering's history in this time period. But that was short-lived for Modern. Modern Horizons was also something that spiked a bunch of cards because Vengevine started being played in like the Hogak Vine decks. And after Hogak was banned, then you can see that Vengevine had a free fall. So this was just another short-sighted vision of Magic's designers where they thought that Vengevine would be a good reprinting. However, if they would have noticed, this is an Ultimate Masters Mythic that before an arguably, busted card that spiked to the value of Vengevine that needed to get banned, it came in. This card was already on a free fall. So it had gone down from its original price before. It was like a $30 card. Ultimate Masters half the value of Vengevine, and it went all the way down to $13. Hogak came into play, Modern became another robust format, and it spiked back up. But these always have price corrections. These are always something you shouldn't look to invest in cards at its plateau. All the time when we have these price spikes, this is short-lived and it will go back down to where typically the demand was before this price spike. So if you actually follow a trajectory of the demand of the card, maybe you could actually point this back upwards, because you could say, okay, if Hogak didn't get banned, possibly this card could hold some of its value, but it still should drop significantly from this price spike. So now we can see that after this, it just went down, 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 down. And this is my huge warning about Double Masters. I think it's going to follow the exact same course as Ultimate Masters did, where there will be initial people thinking this set can hold value, or okay, I'm just going to give it 6 months, I'm going to give it a year, then it should start to recover in pricing. No, Ultimate Masters has still not seen the bottom for its what we call competitive cards. With the pandemic going on, with organized play completely shut down, competitive cards are a very toxic asset. You shouldn't be holding on to any of these, especially with their willingness to then just reprint them in master sets or mystery booster boxes, or God knows what they're going to come up with next, when they should just really take a back seat to anything competitive. I think they've killed their equity market for competitive cards, and it's going to take years for Modern, Pioneer, Legacy cards to recover. If they want to be focusing on something, they should be focusing on their format that is actually doing quite well, which is their Commander format. But I'd even say they're oversaturated on that and are running out of targets to be able to reprint in the Commander sphere as well. So Vengevine really confirms that this was a plan set around this time period. So we're going to say Q3, I would say, of 2019 is when they started planning it, which is really troublesome because look at Ultimate Masters. So Ultimate Masters, I guess it was a huge success, and like, wow, look at it, it actually sold. So as far as the perspective of Wizards is concerned, Ultimate Masters was probably the perfect set. So it wasn't a set that sold out to the point that people had to pay an arm and a leg for it. It sold exactly where they wanted that MSRP to fall. So typically in retail, what Wizards of the Coast wants is they want all parties to be able to make a profit. And Wizards gets extremely jealous when their profits are on the secondary market, like after even the stores. So what typically ends up happening with some of the sets that we saw this with, like Commander 2017. We've seen this also with the Modern Masters 3. And of course, Modern Masters 1, where the majority of the profits were actually by the speculators, by the people who invest in this product and then flip them. We are even starting to see that a little bit in like sets like Battle Bond that went out of stock, where Wizards of the Coast could have made a higher profit margin on those if they would have actually judged the print run correctly. So Ultimate Masters was considered the perfect set because they did. I don't know if they actually did judge the print run correctly, because I think they overprinted Ultimate Masters and it caused just a massive bull or bear market for the sealed product, as well as the singles market, which does cut into the profit margins of Wizards of the Coast, especially when they're printing secret layers. And I also would like to argue that Wizards of the Coast's big competitor is not other games, it's themselves. It's their own products that compete against each other. So Ultimate Masters actually led to lackluster sales in everything that came out during the time period of Ultimate Masters, and it took a long time for the market to absorb those products, and led to some stinkers sets during this time period. So Ultimate Masters, though, as far as Wizards was concerned, was the perfect print run because it sold out in a reasonable amount of time where you couldn't get it from distributors, and it actually was able for stores to make a decent profit and distributors to make a decent profit, selling around 40% markups, which is pretty decent in today's day and age with margins are concerned. Like ideally, brick and mortars want 50%, so meaning if they were to sell something for $10. Or buy something for $10, they like to sell it for $20. That's a good margins traditionally in the brick and mortar. However, we haven't been able to do that in gaming for quite some time, where even things like Warhammer and board games have succeeded that to where brick and mortars are only expected to make about 40%. So if you bought some for 10, you sell it for $18 at that point and make those margins there. So Magic the Gathering, unfortunately, though, has had it worse as far as sealed product is concerned with booster boxes. So stores buying it at like $85 can only expect to be selling it for $90 to $95, and after fees and all the headache, they're making only a couple bucks per booster boxes. LGSs have really used booster boxes as I'm trying to think of the term here, to get people in the door. So maybe they'll spend on other stuff that do have higher margins. So when Ultimate Masters came around, it felt like that perfect set where it wasn't the secondary market that had these runaway gains where people felt like fleeced by not having enough supply, where then people were able to flip it, where the stores were able to sell this out and make a decent, reasonable, margins, and where distributors, same thing, weren't having over excess amounts of these left on the shelf, which we saw with both Iconic Masters and Masters 25. So I think that they went with a success and they're like, okay, we can do this again. And less than a year later, they have, or well, I guess a little bit over a year later, they've done double Masters. But the timing concerns me because they started planning this when Ultimate Masters clearly had not been, where the supply had not been outstretched by the demand, or even the sign of that happening, and they start planning the set right around this time period and picking cards like Vengevine. It doesn't stop there. We see many other cards that had these little price increases around that time period. I think Dark Confidant was another one. So let's go ahead and look at the Modern Masters. I think it had a price increase around War of the Spark as well. Yep, see that little dip here, or the dip here around Ultimate Masters did not get reprinted Ultimate Masters, and then it went up in value from $50 to $75. This is with the Coast designing double Masters right here and saying, wow, Dark Confidant's is $75. Unfortunately for them, they really missed the mark on a lot of these mythics, where these mythics are looking pathetic. I mean, Dark Confidant still looks like a pretty good mythic, but look, it went all the way down to $42 when modern, when this huge lull in the market happened from War of the Spark all the way to Ikoria. So this was a card that had a lot of equity, double the equity in the Mythic slot, that now is just looking incredibly lackluster, or it's just not one of their chase cards, not one of their, their tier 1. These are the cards that everyone's going to be expecting from Double Masters, being these high value reprints. We can actually even look at a few other ones like that went up in value, like Jace the Mind Sculptor at this same time period. So if we come over here to the Masters 25, it had a price increase again during this time period. Went from the Ultimate Masters printing here, and it went up from the about $90 to $125, and Wizards of the Coast were like, wow, yeah, this is the time for Jace the Mind Sculptor to be printed again. And lo and behold, it was just a short-lived kind of bull market here, where people thought that this was an investable card, and lo and behold, it was not. And it slowly began to trickle down as the actual market price was much lower than this summer of 2019 had suggested the market was for these high value competitive cards in Modern. So that has been the name of the game. I think Skithiryx as well was one of these cards that had a price increase around War of the Spark. That was the first big gain here is $24, and it went all the way up to $35. So again, Skithiryx looked pretty good. And then around here, it had another price increase due to the fact that this ended up being one of the better cards to mutate onto. However, I think the Skithiryx also had some price readjusting to do from here, and it probably would have come down from 45 down to about 35. Whereas what's actually pre-selling for Double Masters, what I think is very, very overinflated. So yeah, very concerning with Wizards when they weren't able to, see that we are in just a bubble at that time period, and the cards were, expected to go down. I think Wormcoil Engine 2 was one of these cards that had a little bit of a price increase during War of the Spark. So, yep, there you see it. Once again, this was a card that was $20 that went back up at War of the Spark. Wizards jumped the gun, thought this was an equity card that could easily see a reprint, and they, by the time that this set... See, this is what they did. They followed this trajectory, thinking that, oh, Wormcoil's 30. By the time we announced it, it's going to be worth $40, and everybody's going to want a Wormcoil engine. And nope, it price readjusted down to 20. And in fact, you could argue that this had not seen its low, and possibly, even if it hadn't seen the reprint, we could have seen Wormcoil engines hitting 18 or $15 by year's end, and with just the problems with Modern. Anyway, that has been kind of the name of the game with this set. It was too soon for a Double Master set to be dropped on the market, and I do not think that the market can absorb Double Masters, especially with what they've gone with the chase cards being more in the category of competitive than into Commander. Yes, we do have some Commander cards, but yeah, not. I think they really wanted this set to sell. I think they should have put like Cyclonic Rift at Mythic. I actually think that would have been a better play for this particular card, and then just started printing this as a Mythic from then on out. Of course, people that want affordable reprints will cry, but I don't know. It's in the business. I think that you should be going for chase cards being, more highly sought after. I think actually even Cyclonic Rift has more of a mythic ability than a rare ability with that overload type effect. Anyway, it's pretty bad too if we come across here for some of these ones that were spoiled recently. We have some stinkers here. Sundering Titan? Are you kidding me? We didn't see many of the Sundering Titans even from the Masters 20 or the Ultimate Masters type cards. This is 73-cent card from the Masters 25. It just barely hit its bottom. This is as low as it's been. It's banned in Commander, I believe, right? They haven't unbanned this, and it doesn't see that much Modern. I guess maybe Eldrazi Tron. Is Eldrazi Tron actually even using Sundering Titan? No, it's like a one of in the sideboard. This is just a stinker of a stinker card because of the lack of... I don't think in Master sets or Premier products you can print banned Commander cards. I think that you need that pull from Commander to really stabilize cards. You cannot rely on Modern. Modern used to be the bread and butter. It's over. They failed competitive. Anywhere from Modern... Pioneer and now even Standard has just been a dumpster fire when it comes to people wanting to play the format, because they just keep printing non-interactive cards, and the skill level of these formats has just been degraded and degraded as time has gone on. The years of competitive play being something that attracts players being the the reason to play Magic the Gathering is over. It's Commander now. It is Commander. Magic the Gathering is Commander. And I think they need to give up on it, trying to balance both Pioneer and Modern. I don't know. Something really needs to change in the design teams to start designing good sets and start to policing their formats before I think that we'll see a robust Modern scene ever again. And of course, the pandemic has to go away. So we look at Meddling Mage. What were they thinking? This is just the lack of communication between mystery boosters and then deciding to see if we can get a better... Oh, this is mystery boost. Let's look at I think that... Was there a War of the Spark? No, I guess this was a high value card during War of the Spark. Had a little bit of increase here. Yeah, Humans was huge back then, and this was a card they thought could hold some. Yeah, this is one of their rare targets. They're like, yeah, I can see their thought process right here. They start designing the set. It's going up in value. Hey, look at us. We can have Meddling Mage be something that attracts people to this double Masters. But then there had to have been a different team. Wizards of the Coast, make a statement. Do you have a different team on mystery booster boxes that you had on Double Masters, and you both saw this juicy $20 card and like, yeah, we're going to do this too. This can attract people to buying it. And now it's down to a $7. It's down to a $4 card. This doesn't have any equity. This does not have any pull now to get people to buying this. And these cards are ugly too. Look at all these full arts. They are just so ugly. No one is liking these arts. Like people even said, look, it's off-centered. They like off-centered this card when they designed it. I don't know how much art is going to play into what you'd think in these, the premier cards that play a significant role in the value of the card. I think this Dark Confident full art is probably going to be worth around the same, maybe like a very, very slim multiplier, not even a 100% multiplier. Oh, definitely not 100% multiplier, not even like a 50% multiplier of how much this is going to be worth over. We're talking like a 1.1 possibly, I think, when the dust settles. So maybe like Dark Confident will be worth $35 and this will be worth like $40. Yeah, stinker with this set. I am not impressed so far with Double Masters. Again, you get 2 cards per set, but we're now with another Mythic, which probably should have been a rare in the set that I just don't think is going to be enough to attract people to the set. Yeah, we'll wait and see what other things are spoiled. The uncommon slot seems to be okay, but again, if we look at uncommons, there have been some cards that have been printed very recently. We have cards like Thespian Stage that was a rare that was reprinted multiple times recently, I believe, if we look at it. So Ultimate Masters, yeah, and then Commander 2019. What are they doing? I understand this is a very, very... look at Commander 2018, this recovered pretty quickly. And possibly could say that the Thespian Stage is due for another one, but I don't know. I think that this is too soon. This is just too soon for Thespian Stage again. I get it with the Dark Depths combo, but maybe they should put like Vesuva in the set instead. Wow, Wizards. I don't get it. I don't get who you have behind designing your sets. This obviously was a bit of trying to find, combos and stuff that actually works for the draft format. But I think with Double Masters, your whole point was to be equity based, to be looking at where this value can come for people who want to purchase a set. And this just seems to be a dumpster fire. Avoid this set. It's Ultimate Masters all over again. And the biggest difference between 2019 or early 2019 and right now is we have just a market that I do not believe can absorb this set. I had $18,000 of requested Double Masters. I was only able to get a few $1,000s worth of it. I get that the masses wanted this set, but I just really think when the dust settles, this is going to be a stinker of a stinker. The only thing that can be going for Double Masters is maybe they did cut off the supply. Maybe it's not Ultimate Masters or Masters 25 or Iconic Masters levels or Modern Horizons levels of product. Maybe this has been scaled back and it's one of those things they're just going to do a one-time release of it with this initial wave where stores got anywhere between on your low end, you have stores getting 20 end. On the high end, you get about 200. That's where the bigger stores, like the premium stores, have been kind of cut off around 250, 200 of the Ultimate Masters product from their main distributors. My main distributor gave me 40, so that gives you kind of a in the scope of things, I think this was less. I don't know if it's less than Ultimate Masters. So I'll have to go check my Ultimate Masters numbers of how much I got, comparatively speaking. But Ultimate Masters, where I was able to get a lot more product, was kind of the second, not wave, but second, like, listing. So how it works with distribution is, of course, there's a pre-order. Wizard of the Coast always cuts pre-orders. Their Ikoria Commander was a good example. Commander 2019 was another good example. Those were both things that I sold out of my pre-orders, had to actually cut people on their pre-orders, and then they just dumped them on us. And it wasn't like a new wave. It was just kind of like the rest of them. They have that pre-order small, let's get the pump up the set and give this false sense of supply, and then dump the remaining product on it. And that could be the way they're going with Double Masters. It's certainly what they did with both Iconic and Masters 25, and now we saw it with Ultimate Masters, we saw it with Modern Horizons. This could definitely be the route that it goes with Double Masters. And if that is the route, we're screwed. This set is going to be, I don't know. I know it gets really, really old calling it Chronicles 2.0, but this could be, at least for the Master set is concerned, this could be the set that ends all Master sets, just because it will just show the clear sign that the market cannot absorb this. It cannot absorb these reprints. And so far, there haven't been, well, actually, these reprints aren't terrible. There's just nothing left. They've just done it too much. Between Secret Layers, between sets like Mystery Booster Boxes, with Ultimate Masters being in the scope of things not that long ago, with even Iconic Masters and Masters 25 in the scope of things not being that long ago, I just don't see how the market can absorb this many products in this short period of time. Don't invest. Don't buy this set. I know you guys want it. I know you want $20,000 worth of this set. I think there are better things to sink your money into, and I'll be talking about those in another video, where I think some of these products that were considered to be stinker products will have a better chance of actually showing any sort of gains than something like the Double Masters. I hope you enjoyed this video. This has been Kevin with the Rogue Market. Thanks for watching.